everyone, it's Robert here again. Today I want to start with a question for you. Do you want to learn how to save money while traveling? If the answer is yes, then stick to this video. First of all, let's analyze how you might be going through the whole process of traveling and so on. Most probably, you already have on your head a list of destinations that you will travel to. The second step you take afterwards is just to check flights or other transportation means, and let's say that you found a cheap flight. You book the flight, and afterwards you worry about the accommodation. Maybe I'm wrong, but in most of the cases, I feel that this is how the thing goes. People are ignoring the fact that accommodation is a very, very big chunk of the whole expenses of a trip, even more than the flights itself. Let's illustrate this with a very quick example. Imagine that you live in Europe and you want to travel to the US. Flights are super cheap. Let's say 400 euros you can get a return flight? Then you go there, but which is the cost of living in the United States. It's just much more expensive than in many countries in Spain. Let's, for instance, just take Spain as an example. Within 2 days of being there, and that's being as well conservative, you have already spent as much as the flights to go there and back. And of course, you're not going there for just 2 days. The aim of this video is to help you cut one of the biggest costs of a trip, which is the accommodation. But which is my proposal? First of all, make sure you smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. Secondly, let's see now how HomeExchange works. But what is HomeExchange, Robert? You haven't mentioned anything about that. I knew you would be asking that. HomeExchange is a peer-to-peer platform that allows households like you and me to exchange or, let's say, rent their houses to other households. But it's not like Airbnb, so wait 1 second. The platform works in 2 different ways. First, you can do simultaneous exchanges with another family or just, another individual who wants to exchange their house with you. And then you basically go to their house and they come to your house. That's a mutual exchange. That's one way you can work with this platform. The second and most interesting thing for me is that you can also rent your house in exchange of points from the platform. These points, in this specific case, are called guest points. And you might be wondering, well, how do I accumulate these guest points? When you create an account in HomeExchange, you are given, if I'm not wrong, around 800 points and so on. Actually, if you use the link in the description, you will get an extra 100 points, which I think is very nice. But you also accumulate points when you rent your property to other households using HomeExchange. But how do you set how many points is your house worth per night? This is actually something that HomeExchange does on its own. When you give him the information regarding your house, like square meters it has, rooms, facilities and so on, it gives you a range of points, let's say, that you can charge a night. My recommendation is always to put it at the highest, because when people are using this platform, they don't have that much in mind that points are equal money, and really you can just charge as much as you want. Now let's move into how does the page work in terms of functionality. Like Airbnb, HomeExchange also has an insurance policy. In this case, it's the traveler who needs to pay it. So basically, if you're looking to go to a house of another person, you have to pay this policy. And you have 2 ways of paying that. Either you pay 10 euros per night you stay in that apartment, house or whatever, or you can book an annual fee, which is, if I'm not wrong, 130 points. But if you pay that one, you get 500 extra points to use for your lifetime. So I think it's a pretty good deal. Me personally, I have that one. And I mean, if you just travel for 13 times, actually it's even less than that because they give you the points. You already have that and you can use it throughout the year and you don't have to worry about anything else and use it as many times as you want. I hope that by now you already have a clear idea of how the platform works. Basically, you can list your property there, and when people come to your house, you get paid in points from the platform. And with those points, you can also go to other properties. Or if you don't want to do that, you can also do simultaneous exchanges. Good thing of the platform is that if you want to use it, except for the very beginning when you are given free points, you need to also rent your house. This means that everyone who's traveling is also renting their house. And that's a very good point, because this means that people are very careful when it comes to treating other houses, and you are very unlikely to find problems. To eliminate the risk of having any problems, the platform charges this Polish insurance fee that I have just explained previously. After seeing how the platform works, let's go now see which is the worst thing about it. As I mentioned before, it is households renting to other households, What this basically implies is that if you only have one property and this is your main residence, you rent it very few times a year. So it is very unlikely that when you ask for that property, the owner exactly has the same dates free. But you might as well try, right? So this is basically what happens, that you need to ask maybe 10 properties to get one feasible exchange for the dates that you would like to go there. And which one is the main benefit? Well, that you get to travel with zero or almost zero costs of accommodation. Since me and my family have been using this platform for about 3 years, we have stayed in many places. In total, we have done 8 non-reciprocal exchanges, which means that we have gone to properties paying with points. 2 simultaneous exchanges, which we exchange the house. And we have hosted people in our house 8 times. Let's see now which places has this allowed us to visit. Well, we have been to France, Spain, Iceland, Italy, United States, Canada, and Germany. Not bad, right? We have stayed a total of 49 nights, some of these in countries much more expensive than ours, which is Spain, and in very beautiful houses. Considering that the average price we would have paid to stay in one of these properties is around 100 euros, and I'm being very conservative because we are talking about countries such as Canada, Iceland, or the United States, which are super expensive. In this scenario, the total amount we would have paid for these 49 nights would have been of 4,900 euros. Instead, what we have paid has been 390 euros, which is basically the cost of the insurance for the 3 years. Total saving of 4,510 euros. Not bad, right? Maybe the time spent looking for houses might be worth it in the end. How many things could you buy with that? Which places from the ones that you always say you cannot travel to could you have already visited? Or in my case, how much of this money could I have invested in the stock market in order to generate more money? I leave you with all these questions for you to think about. And if you decide to use HomeExchange, please make sure to use the link in the description in order to get your 100 points. Again, thank you very much. Make sure you like the video, subscribe, and see you next time.